Guys, welcome to Learn English with DiviyaShree classes. And guys, today we are going to learn about degrees of comparison. And degrees of comparison, they come under adjectives. So what are degrees of comparison? Today we will learn that. So I want to start it with an example so that it will be easier for you to understand that what we are doing today. So let's start. So students, as you can see on the screen, there is a picture of three boys in which it is written Bob, Mike, and then Peter. As you can see, for Bob it is written short, so it's for his height. Then for Mike it is written shorter, and then for Peter it is written the shortest. So what this picture is indicating, what difference in this picture that we have to understand. So students, as you can see that there a kind of comparison is taking place between the height of Bob, Mike and Peter. So it means Bob is short, Mike is shorter than Bob, and for Peter it is written Peter is the shortest of the three. So what does it mean? It means, children, that the quality that belongs to these three children heights, okay, so one is short, and when there is a comparison between Bob and Mike, then we said it like this, what? Like Mike is shorter than Bob. So it means when there is a comparison between two, then we have to say like this. And when the comparison is between more than two people or more than two things, then we have to say like this. It is represented in this example. Peter is the shortest of the three. Okay, so let me explain you in more better way. Let's move forward. All right, now another example, like here I wrote tall, taller, tallest. So what does it mean? 3 degrees of comparisons are given here for an adjective tall. Tall is an adjective, and here 3 degrees of comparisons are given for an adjective tall. So it became tall and then taller when the comparison is between two people. When the comparison is among more than two people, person or things, then it will become tallest. So what these 3 degrees are called as? So the first degree of adjective, it is called positive degree, and when there is a comparison between the first degree and the second degree, okay, so the second degree will become comparative degree because there is a comparison among two people, two person or two things. And in the same way, when the comparison is more than two people, person or things, then the third degree will be there. It is called as superlative degree. Okay, let's move forward and learn it in more easy way. So students, the thing which you have to remember, what is that related to adjectives for degree of comparison. So we use adjective to compare persons or things. This point is very much clear to you through the examples, okay, that when you are talking about comparison, it means you are doing degrees of comparison. Okay, then like this, some adjectives have 3 forms, so that 3 forms are called as degrees of comparison. Okay, so students, as you can see in the picture, here it is given like tall, taller, the tallest. Let me give name to these 3 persons. If I say like this, Suresh is tall, then the second person, he is a Mohan. So we will say Mohan is taller than Suresh. And the third person, if we say, it is Ramchand. So we can say like this, Ramchand is the tallest of the 3. Are you getting my point? That how we are comparing the height of these 3 people, these 3 men. So what I said for the first person, the adjective I used here was tall. So I said Suresh is tall. When it comes under comparison among Suresh and Mohan, so what I have to say? I have to say Mohan is taller than Suresh. And when the comparison is more than 2%, so how I have to say it? I have to say like this, Ramchand, like the third man, he is Ramchand. So we have to say like this, Ramchand is the tallest of the 3. I hope the comparison, it is clear to you. Then when you are doing adjectives and we are talking about comparison among things, among persons or any places, so what we have to do? We have to relate them. We have to do comparison. So that process falls under degrees of comparison. Okay, I hope this point is clear to you. So dear students, in these sentences, the word tall, taller and tallest have been used as adjectives. Okay, and all the 3 are different forms of the same adjective. So which adjective we used here? That is tall. Okay, so in first sentence we said that Suresh is tall. So we are not comparing Suresh with any other man here. We are just saying that Suresh is tall. Okay, whereas in second sentence we are comparing 2 persons like Suresh and Mohan and saying that Mohan is taller than Suresh. Alright, and when it comes to third sentence, what we are doing? We are comparing more than 2 persons, 3 persons in fact, and saying that Ramchand is the tallest of the 3. Okay guys, so we use adjectives to compare persons or things. When we make these comparisons, the adjectives we use, it change in form. Okay, so we have seen that some adjectives have 3 forms, that is called as degrees of comparison. So guys, tall is a positive degree, taller is a comparative degree, and tallest is the superlative degree. Okay, now let's move towards positive degree and understand what is the meaning of positive degree. Okay, when we use the positive degree of an adjective. So guys, we use the positive degree of an adjective when we are not making any comparison. Okay, so this point is clear to you. When we are not making any comparison, it means we use the positive degree of an adjective. So this degree is used with one person or thing only. Like here you can see in the examples I wrote Mrs. Ria is a rich lady. Okay, so is there any comparison of Mrs. Ria with any other person? No, it means there is no comparison when we are doing positive degree. Now see the second one. Kanpur is a big city. So am I comparing Kanpur with any other city? No. It means we have not compared Mrs. Ria with anyone else and then Kanpur with any other city. I hope this point is clear to you that we use the positive degree of an adjective when we are not making any comparison. So it is called positive degree. Alright, let's move towards the comparative degree. So what is comparative degree and where we use it? Okay guys, so guys, we use comparative degree of an adjective when we are comparing two persons or things or two groups of person or things. Like here you can see Mrs. Joy is richer than Mrs. Ria. So here you can see I am comparing who is more richer. Okay, so here there is a comparison between Mrs. Joy and Mrs. Ria. So what I said, Mrs. Joy is richer than Mrs. Ria. So there is a comparison between two persons. On the other side, I said Delhi is bigger than Kanpur. So again, there is a comparison between two cities. So dear students, what you have to learn, you have to understand this point. In degrees of comparison, when there is a comparison between two person or things, that degree is called as comparative degree. Okay, now let's move towards the third degree of comparison. And what is that? That is superlative degree. Continue with the video because I will tell you how we use these three degrees and what changes are required when you are doing comparison for comparative degree and superlative degree. Alright, so let's move towards superlative degree. So what is a superlative degree, guys? Okay, so now dear guys, you have to understand that it is a superlative degree. Okay, so from its name we can say that when we use the superlative degree of an adjective when we are comparing more than two persons or things. Okay, or you can say or more than two groups of persons or thing. Like here you can see I wrote Mrs. Sharma is the richest of all my neighbors. Okay, so here what I am doing comparison of Mrs. Sharma with more than two persons. Okay, so here the degree of comparison, it is called superlative, and you can see the adjective rich, what it became here, it became richest. Okay, then in another example you can see Mumbai is the biggest of all you can say cities. If you can say like this, Delhi is bigger than Kanpur, then there is a comparison between two cities. Okay, but when you are comparing it more than two cities, so like this you can say Mumbai is the biggest of all Indian cities. Okay, like this you have to say Mumbai is the biggest of all Indian cities. So it means here there is a comparison of more than two cities. Okay, so what it is called? It is called superlative degree because we are comparing one city with the more than two cities. Okay, so I hope the difference between positive degree, then comparative degree and superlative degree, the picture is clear to you. Okay, now let's move towards the formation of the comparative and superlative degrees of adjectives. How we frame these degrees when you are framing the sentences. Okay, because we understood this concept that where we have to use comparative degree and where we have to use superlative degree. Alright, so first of all, for one, when there is no comparison, it means for one thing when you are talking about, then how you have to write. Like here it is written, for most of the adjectives, those like end like this. Here it is written great. Okay, so when you are doing the comparison with other great thing, so it means a kind of comparison among two things. Okay, between two things, then we need to add er at the end of adjective whatever is given. Okay, the positive adjective whatever is given, okay, like this, great, large. Okay, so what you need to do, you have to add er at the end. So here for comparison it became greater, and when you are doing the comparison more than two things, then at the superlative degree you have to add est at the end, and what it will be then? It will become greatest. I hope you are understanding this. Now for large, it is, now this is ending like this. So here when you are comparing, then what you have to do, you have to add er at the end. So large will become larger because there is a comparison among two large things. So the comparative degree, it will become larger, and when more than three things you are comparing, then it will become largest, and it falls under superlative degree. Alright, okay, let's see more examples and learn how we can use it for comparative and superlative degrees of adjective. So guys, like here you can see those adjective words end with e. Like here I gave two words, brave and large. You can see there is no comparison when you are talking anything that is brave or something that is large, then it falls under positive degree. And as these adjectives are ending with letter E, now this is the point to understand and learn when you are framing the sentences and doing the comparison and using the different degrees of comparisons. Okay, so where you have to need and what you have to write while changing the degrees. So here you can see those adjective words end with E. Okay, so when you are doing comparison of those adjectives with other thing or person or place, so you have to add are at the end of that adjective word. Like here it is written brave. So when you are comparing any brave person with the other person or any brave thing with the other thing, so it will become braver. And if the comparison is between, not between more than three people, more than three things, then what it will be? You have to add st, right, at the end of that adjective. So it will become bravest. So here you can see in superlative degree, the adjective brave will change into bravest. Alright. Okay. Now see here, large. So when you are saying about something that is large in shape or size or anything, okay, so when you are not doing comparison, it falls under positive degree. But when you are doing its comparison with another large thing, so under comparative degree, it will become like larger. So we need to add are with it. And if the comparison is among more than two things, okay, so under superlative degree, you have to write it like largest. So you will add st at the end of that adjective. I hope the use of 3 degrees of comparison, where to change and what to write for those adjective words that end with the use of 3 degrees of comparison, like when the word adjective, it is ending with E, the picture is clear to you that when there is a comparison, you have to add R at the end of that word, and if the comparison is more than two things, then you have to add st. Okay, let's move towards another adjective words that end with Y. But here there is a little difference. Like here you can see the word easy. It is an adjective and it is ending with letter Y. But before Y there is written S, and letter S is what? It is a consonant. So guys, this thing is to learn and remember when you are comparing such word that is ending with letter Y and before it there is a consonant letter. So you are going to change it under comparative degree. So what you will do? You have to remove the letter Y and instead of Y you have to add I-E-R. So here you can see if something is easy and you are comparing that easy thing with other easy thing, so it will become easier. Okay, so instead of Y you have to remove Y, and what you have to add instead of Y? You have to add I-E-R. And where the comparison among more than three things or two things, then instead of Y you have to write I-E-S-T for superlative degree. So it will become easiest. So you can see here the thing that you need to remember. What is that? Those adjective words that end with Y but before Y they have a consonant letter. So when they are changing into comparative, we need to add IER, and if you are changing into superlative, then you have to write IEST at the place of Y. Like happy, for comparison it will become happier, and for superlative it will become happiest. Alright, now let's move and towards the other rule where the adjective is ending with Y, but instead of consonant before that Y you can see there is a vowel. So right here in the positive degree the word I took, it is grey. Okay, it is ending with Y, but before this Y there is a letter, it is E, and E is a vowel. So students, the thing which you have to remember when you are doing comparison, if the adjective which you are using, it is ending with Y and before Y there is a vowel letter. There are, what vowels there are? There are A, E, I, O, U. A, E, I, O, U. So these are the 5 vowels. If any of these 5 vowel letter is there before Y, okay, so when you are comparing it, so under comparative degree you need to add ER with it. No removal of Y letter, it will remain there, just add ER with it. Okay, so the grey will become grayer when you are comparing between two things, okay, about the color. And if you are comparing more than two, then you have to add EST under superlative degree. I hope this point is clear to you. Okay, for vowel and for consonant. Alright, now let's move towards the other rule which we need to follow under degrees of comparison. Alright guys, now look here. So here I wrote a word like big, and you have seen that here something is written CVC. So what does it mean? So big, BIG. So students, the thing that need to remember and understand it, if such words those have the rule like this. The words, the letters are in such position when you are speaking them from backward to front, from where they started. So like G. So G is a consonant. Then before G, what letter is there? I. So I is what? It is a vowel. Then before I, there is again a letter, that is consonant. So students, the thing which you have to understand here, so such adjective words, those ends with this three letter words, three letters like consonant, vowel, consonant. Okay, under positive degree, those words ends like this: consonant, vowel, consonant. Okay, so when you are comparing such words, such qualities with other thing, okay, so under comparison, what will happen? So the last letter, which is consonant, it will become double. It means it will come 2 times in that letter when you are comparing it. Okay, and then you add er with it. It is very important to understand such positive adjective words when you are doing comparison with another thing or another person. You have to understand this rule. Okay, is that adjective word is following this pattern of consonant, vowel and consonant? If yes, it means under comparison you have to double the last letter and add er with it. Okay, and if you are doing comparison with more than 3 things, it means instead of er you will write est, and the doubling of that last letter, it will remain same. So it will become like here, biggest. I hope through this example, the pattern of consonant, vowel and consonant, it is clear to you. Okay, like here it is written sad. Again you can see D is a consonant, A is a vowel, S is a consonant. And when you are doing comparison among 2 things, then it will become sadder. It means the last letter D, it will come 2 times and you will add er with it. And if you are doing superlative degree, then what will you add? You will add est, and the letter, the last consonant letter, it will change into 2. It means it will come 2 times. So saddt, it is the superlative form of the adjective sad. Alright. Okay guys, let's move towards, so as we are doing formation of the comparative and superlative degrees of adjectives, so words having more than 2 syllables. Syllables means what, children? Syllable is actually a single unit of speech. Okay, the word is written here syllables, so no need to get confused. It means that a single unit of speech, either a whole word or one of the part into which a word is divided. Okay, like what we do, we break the words. Okay, like if I say big, so big, it is need to break this word big? No, it is itself a 1 syllable. Okay, because it has 1 unit of speech. So I will say big. And if I say like water, how I spoke it, I say water. It means I can break it into 2 parts like this, water. So syllable, how many? 2. Okay, in the same way if I say beautiful, beautiful. So how I broke this word? I said beau, then t, then full. It means it became 3 syllables. Okay, so what is a syllable? It is a single unit of speech, either a whole word or one of the parts into which a word is divided into when it is spoken. I think this is clear to you. Okay, alright. So here let's see the degrees comparative and superlative. If the words are like this, beautiful, dangerous, so how we can do the comparison among 2 things? Okay, if it is comparison among 2 people, then the word we need to add, it is more. What it is? It is more. So beautiful will become more beautiful. Okay, and if more than 2% the comparison, then it will become most beautiful. Then we use most beautiful. So students, remember this, words having more than 2 syllables. So how we use them? We use them with using more before them and most before them. More we use under comparison when it is between 2 people or things, and most we use when the comparison more than 2 things or person or group of people. I hope this thing is clear to you. Like here it is written dangerous. So what is dangerous? So it is a simple word and you can break into syllables. How many? Dangerous. So 3 syllables we can break it. It means when you are doing the comparison of such thing, so how you will write it? You will write more dangerous. And if you are doing the comparison more than 2, then you will write most dangerous. I hope the picture is very much clear to you. Okay, so dear students, but there are some adjectives, they don't follow any of the rules. Okay, and for such adjectives we need to remember their comparative and superlative degrees. So it means we have to cram those adjectives comparative and superlative degrees. Few of the examples I have given here, like bad. So bad's comparative degree becomes worse and superlative worst. Good, better, best. Much, more, most. Many, more, most. So such type of, there are so many degrees, okay, adjectives, those do not follow any of the rules of these degrees of comparison. So we need to actually remember their comparative and superlative degrees. I hope guys that today's class, that about adjectives, degrees of comparison, that the things which we learnt about degrees of comparison, the concept is very much clear to you. Okay, if you learnt anything from this video, so don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Have a nice day, everyone.